have a great responsibility to make sure that I carry out my duties and make sure that those people who voted for me, they don't feel that their vote was in vain. And this is a great opportunity, and I intend to seize the moment.
Well, let me end this segment with this question. How do you see our chances of reducing crime as the years go along, and what suggestions do you have for that?
I believe education and crime, there's a great correlation between the two. As I sat as presiding judge for the city of Bessemer, often there were people that came before the bench that had 8th grade education, 7th grade, 6th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, and they would be in their 20s, no job. I don't think really had any thoughts of becoming productive citizens, but yet and still they stand before the court because they've broken a law. And that was an opportunity. I seized that moment at that time to try and make a difference in the people's lives within the city of Bessemer that committed crimes within just the city of Bessemer. I would refer them to programs such as the Dannon Project, and where they would get their GED, they would get a certified skill, a trade, and also they would have to pay court costs. That's part of acceptance of responsibility. But I think education has a lot to do with trying to curb the crime. And what I do as well right now is I like going to the schools and reading to children, 3rd, 4th grade. I've done a lot of that. I had to kind of slow up because we started working on budget for the next fiscal year. But to be visible so that people will know that you care. And to let the children know that if you have a goal, again, it goes back to just having a dream, having a goal, and working toward it.
Well, you're a fine example that dreams matter and dreams can become reality.
Thank you. Thank you. But I have to say, too, I have a strong support system. My husband works for Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, and he has been a strong support system for me this election. When I first ran back in 2010, he was in Iraq. So I went through chemo, radiation, bilateral mastectomy, and lost hair on my head, eyebrows, eyelashes. I went through a whole lot. During that time, my son was with me, and I wanted to show my son that in life you're going to have obstacles. In life, you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some challenges. Yes, but it is not to stop you.
We'll talk about making a difference when we come back for our last segment.
Thank you.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Carl Cannon Buick Cadillac GMC Chevrolet. My name is Joshua Salter, and would love to take this opportunity to show you the new 2016 Cadillac SRX. We've got some great promotions going on right now. Would love to help you get into a new car today. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 384-5561 or on my cell at 205-300-8364. Stop out and see us.
Other dealers can't? Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Every day, students at Bevel State Community College tell their own stories. They tell them through the accomplishments they achieve, the choices they make for career success, and through recommendations they share with friends. With 5 locations serving 7 counties and tuition lower than 4-year colleges, now is the time to start writing your own success story. Your story starts at Bevel State.
Welcome back. And it's great to have District Attorney Lynneice Washington, a history maker and a true inspiration. Let's talk a little bit about imprints, legacies. What would you like to see your changes, the changes you'd like to make the system better?
To make the system better, that means you have to kind of help change the mindset of the people that make up the system. We start with our community. We stopped last in talking about educating the community. Right now, there's a lot of gun violence. It's huge, and we're working on now ways to curb the gun violence. We're working on ways now to be more, have a bigger presence, law enforcement have a bigger presence in the community to make sure that before you think about pulling that gun out, you don't know whether Officer Smith is going to drive by, because people, when they have guns, that's how they resolve their conflict. They just pull a gun. They don't think, they just pull a gun. And whenever you pull a gun, something happens. And you can't bring a life back. It's not like on the video games when you play, you shoot the person, they go down, you see the red blood, they pop back up, okay, round two. It doesn't work like that in real life. And people have to understand that when they take a life, they're not only affecting that person, that one person whom you think you've gotten the glory, the victory, but you've affected that family, you've affected your family, you've affected the rest of your life.
And generations.
And generations, yes.
So what would you like to see? What changes would you like to see implemented? Because you have a 6-year term.
Yes,
right.
Yes. I'd like to see more education. I'd like to see less violence.
Okay.
I'd like to see young people have more programs to stimulate the minds of young people in a more positive way. We have all the negative stuff out there, but we need to overcome the negative with some positive things. If you listen to rap, the words of a rap song that talks about, kill the police, shoot the police, and disrespecting women, if you listen to that day in, day out, that becomes in your head and it becomes a part of you.
Words matter.
Words matter, and that becomes the person. So if we try to stimulate them in other ways, and I know the video game is so powerful right now and have the minds of our young people, but we have to find ways to stimulate them in other ways to steer them away from the rap, the games, the video games.
Right. Would it be fair to say that not only do we need better training in the home, but we also need better training with police officers?
We do. And that's another thing. We need to become more, racially sensitive, and trying for the police to be able to communicate with the community. Oftentimes, you have officers that have never been in a black community, but yet they're sworn to uphold the law and, to make that community safe and take care of those people that live within the community. But all at the same time, you're someone who's never been in a black community, and vice versa. You can be a black officer, never been in a white community, but you have a gun and you have a badge. But you have to make the people in the community engage with them so that they'll feel comfortable with you. So when they see someone going through a window, they feel comfortable in calling Officer Smith and say, "Hey, Pookie, I see Pookie going through the window there." But if they don't know who you are, and if you don't make that occasionally, you'll be amazed at if you see someone sitting on their porch, you stop by just to say hi, just a small casual conversation, and how that would lead to just a great relationship. And that would be helpful in terms of the community, speaking to the police and helping them with crimes, solving crimes.
You mentioned earlier that words matter, and how can we get to the person that's considering that crime that's out there and to influence them in making, prevent them from making that wrong decision that you mentioned earlier?
It all goes back to education. It does, and making an informed decision. Because once you pull the trigger on a gun, there are things that have happened, and you can't take it back. So, but if you understand the consequences, and for some reason our children think that they're invincible, they'll never get caught. And it's not just children, it's not just young people, it's the older ones too. But just making people giving them more information so they can be more equipped to make the right decision, and also to let them know that guns is not the answer. It doesn't resolve conflict. And
you mentioned gun violence is clearly a significant problem. What are other challenges that your office and your community face?
Just death, homicides. You have a lot of sexual assaults against children. We as community leaders, people with authority, our standards are higher. So if you are a police officer, if you are a judge, if you are a lawyer, if you are a preacher, a school teacher, a principal, whomever, we have to set an example for the rest of the world that's looking at us. We can't tell the world to do one thing and we practice something else. Do as I say and not as I do. We have to be examples.
And knowing you the way I do, I know that you are going to leave your mark and make a difference and be a living legacy.
That is the plan. That is the plan now. I just want to make a difference. I want to be the one to make a positive difference in my community, one that everyone can look back and reflect on and say, I voted for her. She made history. They helped me break that proverbial glass ceiling, and I'm standing on so many shoulders.
We appreciate so much you being here.
I've enjoyed it.
And making history and leaving a legacy. Lynneice Washington, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome to Alabama Justice Lawyering Up. My name is Richard Jaffe, the senior partner in the Birmingham, Alabama law firm of Jaffe, Hanle, Whisonant, and Knight. We are going to explore with you the hottest cases, the most controversial topics of Alabama justice, and we're going to bring to you exciting key players that make our Alabama justice work or not work. We look forward to having you.